Yeah. Two. Yeah. Aye. I'm jacking the beat, you calling the cops, the yapping is cheap, I call you the ops, the rapping is heating, it's all cause of pop. You get a leak for the ball, get a drop. Feel like I'm wrong when I double it back, cause I'm making it harder to catch that. But I covered the ticket, I call you to visit, you tipping and hit up the cash app. Baby girl, been around for it, yeah. In the old days, I was stuck in old ways, never really trying to flip the old page. Young man tripping at an old age, thinking eyes flicking, had a low wage, led the bro days, then a slow praise, thinking it'd be different, it would gon' change, then it really didn't, it's a cold game, yeah, ayy. All I really wanted was the money in the pocket, got over money, but the money ain't a topic, like Bill Doe and the money gotta stop it, kid need food and the whip need juice, I'ma get these views when the work hard, play hard, homeboy, everybody ain't calling out. Got a mouthpiece from the southeast, if you want scrap, stall him out. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then I feel good, man, I'm balling out. I'm a rich man with a rich fam, Christ bars got me out of mama house. And I bless God, give thanks. Bless God, give thanks. Bless God, give thanks. Bless God, give thanks. Big God, big grace. Big God, big grace. Big God, big grace. Big God, big grace. Bless God, give thanks. Bless God, give thanks. Bless God, give thanks. Bless God, give thanks. Big God, big grace.
What it do, y'all? It's your partner looking old, so fresh, cold, clean. You see that thing, y'all? Take that picture for your mom and them guys, and welcome again to another edition of the Countermove podcast, where we lean in and reason together and look at life from a wise perspective. It's your partner, Liddell Bugs here, man, back in the saddle, man. And man, this is going to be a very interesting podcast, guys. I've been asked about this for a long period of time by a lot of people in my circle and outside. And I've seen a lot of talks about this topic. But before I go into the topic, if you are looking for debate, guys, I want you to do me a quick favor, if you don't mind. Click on that X button and get skedaddled out of here, man, because this is not a debating format today. This is going to be a platform that we kind of lean in and reason together, guys, and kind of really kind of just prescribe some solutions. So, guys, let's get into this thing today, guys. All right, man. Man, bro, there is a woke agenda going on right now that a lot of individuals don't want to talk about. It's ignored a lot of the times. This is in the past, but then here lately, it has been kind of in your face, right? And a little too much, I would say. But then you begin to see some Fortune 100, 500, 1,000 companies going woke. And so it was kind of odd to me what was going on. And so I just said, okay, let's sit down and see what's going on with this. And so there is a $66 trillion woke agenda going on. Let me say it again with my chest. There's a $66 trillion woke agenda at play now. That's a lot of money. Nadell, what do you mean by a $66 million agenda? Well, I'm actually glad you asked. So, what I think it would be wise for us to do is to take a closer look at this woke agenda. Okay, I want us to look at it and see exactly what's going on. All right, take a real closer look, and then you be the judge. You be the judge. It's evident as far as we can see it out there. We've seen it with Bud Light and Target, and then you had Chick-fil-A. I think it was North Face, North Place. That's another one. There's been a large number of companies kind of pushing a woke type of scenario. But the question would be like, why are they doing this? Well, again, let's take a little bit of a closer look. Now, my man Mark Moss, it's my dude. He actually had a video called "The Sinister Reason Companies Are Going Woke." And guys, what he actually details with receipts answers a lot of these questions. So let's do this here. Let's bring Mark in real quickly and let's see him do what he do best, which is unpack this thing, guys. And man, in the chat, whether you be on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Rumble, you name it. Give me your thoughts. But this is titled the sinister reason companies are going woke. So let's see why they are going woke. Let's see what's going down. Let's just jump in this thing.
The sinister reason companies are going woke, and it's not what you think.
Really?
Now, when Bud Light made headlines for turning against their primary customer base, costing them billions in market valuation from plummeting sales, many people thought it was a huge mistake, a blunder. Some, lower level marketing team made some mistake there, but then other companies started following suit. Target went hard for the kids, then North Face, now Chick-fil-A. So what is going on? Well, in this video, I'm going to explain what's really behind these companies' about face.
Yes.
And you would be surprised. It's not about the money.
It's not.
They don't care if they lose money. So your boycotts.
Hold on. Wait a minute. He just said that they don't care if they lose money. They don't care if they lose money. Let's keep going.
Don't really work. We're going to look at who is pushing them, how they control the corporations we shop at, and of course, how we can turn the tide and stop being a victim and go build the world that we want.
Yes.
So let's go.
Here we go, guys.
All right, welcome back. If you're new to the channel, my name is Mark Moss. Of course, I make these videos to change the way you think about money because it's...
By the way, if you're not following Mark Moss, go on YouTube, follow this cat. Instagram, follow this cat. He's great. He's a monster. He's off the chain.
It's hard to understand what the heck it is and how it's being used in all areas of society. Yes, even as a weapon to force ideologies upon you. And so we're going to break all that down now. Heaven forbid something were to happen to me on YouTube, even though maybe they're opening up their channel a little bit. I'd hate to lose touch with you. I have a free Sovereign Guide newsletter I write once a week, things that I'm looking at, some frameworks and ideas. I'd love to stay in touch with you. It's free. Just sign up. I send it out once a week.
Gotcha.
Sign it down below for that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's jump into what is going on here. Now, in this picture you see right here, you see the Strait of Messina. It's a narrow strip of water separating mainland Italy and the island of Sicily. Now, if you've ever been there, you know it's beautiful. It's magical even. The strait is best known in history and mythology, mainly because of the story of Scylla and Charybdis, two deadly monsters that the ancient Greeks feared. Now, Scylla was a six-headed monster with 12 dragon legs and a ring of barking dogs around her waist. Kind of crazy. She lived on one side of the strait, but on the other side lived Charybdis, a sea monster that created a violent whirlpool capable of sucking down entire ships. Now, navigating the strait was a nightmare for sailors. They were forced to choose between the two, guaranteeing some level of destruction either choice they made. Kind of the rock and the hard place, so to speak. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. But in this case, you probably heard the phrase between Scylla and Charybdis, meaning to choose between two equally dangerous situations. Well, this is where the phrase comes from. Both Scylla and Charybdis were meant to serve as reminders of the perils of obsession, of jealousy, and greed. But today, their story serves as a useful metaphor for why companies go woke, even if it means potentially going broke. So let me explain. Recently, a video started going viral on Twitter. You might have seen it. It reveals why every corporation is actually going woke. Now, the video from the Daily Elevated, it breaks down what's called the Corporate Equality Index, or CEI. Now, the CEI is a tool used by the Human Rights Campaign, or HRC, a political lobbying group. Essentially, this index evaluates companies based on their dedication to creating a diverse and inclusive workplace, particularly concerning LGBTQ.
Sound familiar? So they have a score attached to these companies. For what reason? Let's see.
Plus issues. Now, this all might sound innocent enough, right? I mean, in fact, many would argue that it's a great initiative aiming to make corporate culture more open and accepting. But here's the thing. It's a political campaign that's masquerading as a human rights foundation. And it requires putting your mission as a company in second place while you pursue a high social credit score.
Look at this.
Now, the Human Rights Campaign wields its influence by sending representatives to companies every single year. And they don't just pop by for a friendly visit.
Not at all.
No. they come armed with a list of things companies need to implement to maintain or increase their CEI score. Essentially, they're
Now, this sounds familiar, just like when Larry Fink of BlackRock said that we're going to force behaviors. Let's keep going.
telling corporations what to make visible in public, or else risk receiving a lower score. And these corporations, they comply. But
look at
they
this.
aren't trying to get a good score out of the goodness of their hearts.
Look at this.
They're forced into it because a lower CEI score can bring about a wave of backlash.
Yes.
Now, woke investor funds may start pressuring the board, and activists could begin protesting against the company for perceived outrages. Ad campaigns may get canceled. They might even face sanctions. Now, companies that continue to do business with a penalized company may also face repercussions. If the target CEO isn't woke enough, well, he won't just get pushed out. He'll also get blackballed from working anywhere else in the industry.
So now you're seeing how these people armed with this type of agenda are bringing it to these Fortune 500 to 1,000 companies and not even threatening not only the workers, so to speak, but CEOs. Man, we're going to get deep tonight. Let's go.
Same goes for the executives. Now, these corporations, they need a high CEI score.
Yes, they do.
And nothing else matters. Not profits, not the business, just that score. But
look what he just said. Not profits, not anything, just that higher score, that social credit score. So then they're not even worried about any type of profit losses. Do you see why Budweiser's doing what they're doing? They've lost damn near the $9 to $15 billion in value, and they're still pushing the same agenda. Let's keep going.
But there's a couple problems with this. For starters, it creates a very toxic work culture.
It does.
Now, Silicon Valley Bank had mega woke policies, including mandatory diversity training of microaggressions. Kind of reminiscent of the Soviet Union. You couldn't tell people that things were going bad because the leaders would kill the messengers. Also, this is speculative. All this makes you wonder if the companies pulling ads from Facebook 2 years ago and from Twitter last year for reasons of, moderation policies wasn't all part of this trend. It also makes you wonder if this Netflix is suffering from backlash from angering the CEI crowd. Last year, because Netflix ran a Dave Chappelle special that infuriated the transgender folks, Netflix was removed from that.
Wait a minute. I thought that they were concerned about equity here. But why would they be mad at Netflix pushing Dave Chappelle? A black man. Let's keep going.
The HRC's annual Corporate Equality Index, which rates the corporations based on their wokeness. Jay Brown, the HRC's Vice President of Programs, Training, and Research, revealed that Netflix's score was initially just going to be reduced by about 25 points. But after further consideration, they decided that actually suspension from the index completely was actually more appropriate. And guess what happened now? Well, chaos. Writer strikes. The CEO, Reed Hastings, had to step down. Now, is this related? I don't really know. But this is definitely the type of thing that we see when corporations or even countries don't kowtow to the demands of organizations like the HRC.
Wow.
Now, here's where the myth of Celia and Charbides comes back in. Companies like Budweiser and Target, they knew that by going ultra woke, that they're alienating, the majority, more than half of their customers. But if boycotts are Celia and the CEI score is Charbides, and then they're much more likely to take it on the chin from Celia. Because although Celia, the customers, might be able to take a few sailors, Charbides, the CEI score, can absolutely decimate them.
Yes.
Now, to see how, let's just take a look at the nexus of power, how this works. So here's a question for you. What do Disney, Anheuser-Busch, Target, and North Face all have in common? Well, their top shareholders happen to be Vanguard Group, BlackRock, and State Street. Oh, funny.
Don't that sound familiar? Vanguard, State Street, and BlackRock. Oh, BlackRock, boy. They back. They in this sport. Let's keep going a little deeper, y'all. All right. I'm talking to you retirees. Let's keep going deeper.
Yeah, of course, they're not alone. As a matter of fact, here's a short list of all the companies that are owned at least by one of these three. Now, it's not a short list, but it's the big ones. It's Shell, Zoom, Coca-Cola, Lockheed Martin, Starbucks, PayPal, Netflix, Microsoft, Apple, NVIDIA, MasterCard and Visa, Procter & Gamble, Johnson & Johnson, Nestle, Cisco, United Health Group, ExxonMobil, IBM, eBay, and more. Are you starting to get the idea? Now, BlackRock and Vanguard are among the largest and most powerful companies on Earth. In part because they're cantillionaires closest to the money printers. The other part is because it's your money that they're taking.
He said your money that they're taking. We're talking about your retirement money. You know, those pension funds, your 401k, your IRA, your Roth IRA, your 403b, 457, TSPs. Pick one. Guess who's managing all that? BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street. Let's keep going.
They're taking and weaponizing against you. Now, even though they have your money and they're fighting against you, you don't want to get on their bad sides. Consider this clip right here from BlackRock CEO Larry Fink.
Yes, sir.
Let's play the clip.
Listen.
Well, behaviors are going to have to change, and this is one thing we're asking companies. You have to force behaviors. At BlackRock, we are forcing behaviors.
So he says that we have to force behaviors.
Wow.
So these companies don't want to do it, but they have to force them to do it.
Oh, yeah.
Now, of course, he's talking about ESG ratings, but it's the same thing. Whether it's CEI, DEI, or ESG, BlackRock is in the business of forcing behaviors.
Yes, they are.
Because of the power that they wield. Now, when BlackRock says jump, corporate executives have to say how high. But how does all this work? Now, let's say that all this is true. How would it work? Well, here's hypothetically how. BlackRock and these other investment firms could strong-arm corporations into following any agenda they wanted.
Wow.
So first of all, we've seen this over and over, proxy voting. As major shareholders, these companies could exercise their voting rights.
Now we're getting into the boardroom. This is what happens in the boardroom. Those chairmen of the boards, this is what's going on in the boardroom.
To influence the decision-making process during shareholder meetings. They could use their voting power to elect board members sympathetic to their cause or to pass resolutions that align with their interests.
Correct.
Activist shareholders. Now, also, they do that with strategic alliances. So the major shareholders could form strategic alliances among themselves, leveraging their combined voting power to assert influence. By coordinating their efforts and pooling their shares, they could increase their impact on decision-making processes.
Crazy town.
And then, like I said, shareholder activism. So basically, these entities could then engage in shareholder activism, which would be using their ownership stakes to push for changes within the companies they own. They could propose resolutions, engage in public campaigns, or even use legal means to pressure management and board members to adopt certain measures. They could also push investment priorities because the major shareholders could use their influence to shape the investment priorities of the companies they own. By allocating resources towards specific projects or industries, they could indirectly advance their shared agenda, like taking over Exxon and making them divest from oil. Weird. They can also do it through interlocking dictates. These entities could establish interlocking dictates where individuals from one company serve on the boards of other companies. Now,
do you see how the tentacles are everywhere, guys? They're everywhere. That's the reason why they don't mind losing money, because they know they can go from company to company to company to company. And the thing about it is BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street, they actually almost own everything. This is for real. That's why they don't mind losing money. And the news flash is, it ain't their money. It's your money that they're using against you. Let's keep going.
Now, this practice can create networks of influence and facilitate coordination among companies owned by these major shareholders, sort of like a conspiracy. Also, they could do it through lobbying and advocacy, of course, outside of their ownership stakes. These entities could engage in lobbying efforts to shape government policies and regulators. They could do, influencing over the external environment. They could indirectly affect the operations and outcomes of the companies they own. Now, the irony in all of this is that most Americans are helping pay for it.
Yes.
BlackRock's clients include pension funds, endowments, foundations, financial advisors, and of course, individual investors.
What he said? He said also endowments, universities, hello, HBCUs, PWIs. Yep. BlackRock has their money too. Golly, boy, let's keep going.
like you. When activists seek, protection and rights, they're often talking about the government becoming the bouncer between them and their critics.
Yes.
They wish for an immunity shield against skepticism, a luxury that nobody has.
Yes.
But ultimately, look, this isn't about LGBT issues at all. Now, don't be surprised if you end up finding out that a score like this one is influencing local politics, state issues, and even your kids' schools.
Yes.
I think we can all see where this is headed. It's about ushering in a social credit score that manages every aspect of your existence. You see? See where it's going? Now, this is the first step. It's the easiest way to do that, and it's to do that by creating a divided, low-trust society that's ripe for control and change.
That's correct.
So all that sounds great, right? Or no, it sounds bad, right? And it is. So how do we starve the beast? How do we stop this?
There we go.
So yes, right, the woke companies are seeing a lot of pushback, and that's a good thing. But boycotts, they won't be enough to starve the beast because...
So now he's going to go into a solution. I'm going to bring him back at the end, guys, to go to the counter move, guys. There is a way to fight back from this. There is a way. All right, there is a way. But guys, it's playtime is over. It's over. Okay, you think that's enough? I have another one coming up by Patrick Bet-David talking about ESG scores. So what Mark did was he actually did a little bit of a quick synopsis on it. Patrick goes in, like he goes in on this, and he's the next on this one. But I want you to hear what Mark said. We're talking about not only companies and corporations, we're talking about locally, your cities, your counties, your states, your school boards, huh? Those that actually have those books that should not be in the schools. Hello, huh? Right, city halls, right? City councils, huh? Yeah, principals at schools. Playtime is over, right? It's over. So, all right, guys. I know there's a lot right there. Can we go a little deeper? If you want to go a little deeper, go get you a cup of coffee, get you a little sip drink, because now we finna go real deep in this. All right. Now we got to widen the circle and say, okay, what's going on with this ESG? Because ESG is tied into this social credit score system, guys. The Vantage score and things of that nature is tied into this, guys. All right. So Patrick Bet-David, my dude, PBD, he actually did a short presentation on this very topic. It was about ESG exposed, a $66 trillion weapon used to control corporate America. He's about to go in, guys. Notice, I'm not saying that much because they do such a great job of presenting it. But let's get going. This is Patrick, PBD, man. Take us to the throne. Let's go.
So look, with recent news about Target losing $9 billion in a week after having a section for the Pride Month and the clothes and transgender, and wait a minute, what just happened? Why did they lose $9 billion in a week? Why did Bud Light just lose 28% of sales and it's not even slowing down? And all of a sudden they're coming back saying, no, we love our drinkers and we're not going to do this Dylan Mulvaney thing. And then ESG comes out and says, oh, you guys had a perfect score, Anheuser-Busch, but after the way you handled yourself with Dylan Mulvaney, we are lowering your score, and they're so scared. What happened to CEOs? Number one customer being the buyer, you and I, then their employees, then the investors. Today, these S&P 500 companies, why are they so scared of BlackRock? Why are they so scared of their ESG scores? We're going to take a deep dive into that topic in this video.
So guys, he comes in immediately and begins to kind of go in a little bit, man. It's when I say, guys, it goes deep, guys. It goes deep. All right. So let's keep it going. All right, let's go. Keep it going. Here we go. But man, this is whoo. Hope y'all ready for this one. All right, here we go.
All right, so if you get value from this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Let's get right into it. What is ESG? ESG is a score to measure how well a company addresses risks with respect to environmental, social, and governance. Hence, ESG. Issues in its day-to-day work and operations. These risks include matters like carbon emissions, employee safety, and board diversity. The system uses analysts and algorithms to calculate environmental, social, and governance ratings that are then combined into a score. So where did ESG come from? In 2006, the United Nations enacted the Principles for Responsible Investment, PRI. PRI is a set of 6 principles that outline how investors can integrate environmental, social, and governance, ESG, factors into their investment decisions. The PRI has been signed by over, ready, 3,000 investors, representing over $40 trillion in asset under management.
Do you see that number? $40 trillion. 3,000 investors. Keep going.
These are the 6 principles of the PRI. Number 1, incorporate ESG issues into our investment analysis and decision-making process. Number 2, seek to ensure that our investment activities are aligned with our commitments to responsible investment. Number 3, disclose our investment policy and procedures in relation to responsible investment. Number 4, encourage investment managers to incorporate ESG issues into their decision-making process. Number 5, work with investee companies to promote responsible business practices. Investee meaning companies that they invested into, investee companies. Number 6, promote the PRI within the investment community and with other stakeholders. So wait, UN as in like United Nations? Yes. What the hell does United Nations has to do with the way Bud Light or Target or other?
So the United Nations is involved with this. The UN. Okay, here we go.
Businesses on S&P do business. Well, this is how they have had the chokehold on companies to get them to hit a score so they do what United Nations wants them to do, which is what a lot of people in America are worried, saying, wait a minute, why not just worry about America? Who the hell are those guys to tell us how we live our lives, how we run our companies? That's what happens when companies become global companies. Some of these companies want more control. Let me even go deeper into how much control United Nations, UN, has over these companies. So, UN has powers to influence the flow of capital and set international laws. Companies need capital. You have a high score, you get capital. You have a low score, we're not giving you the capital you want. Number 1, legislative powers. The UN can pass resolutions that impose sanctions on or invest in sustainable development projects. Control. Number 2, judicial power. The International Court of Justice, ICJ, can impact the rights of investors and ability of countries to regulate the flow of capital. More control. Number 3, financial powers. The UN has influence over the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund, which have the power to lend money to countries and to influence the flow of capital. Control. The UN has several ways to influence these institutions, including the UN General Assembly and the Security Council can pass resolutions that are binding on the World Bank and the IMF. The UN can appoint representatives to the boards of the World Bank and the IMF. The UN can provide funding to the World Bank and the IMF. The UN can issue reports and studies that can make recommendations to the World Bank and the IMF. So the next question will be, is there somebody above the UN? Who is above the UN? Who controls?
So notice, nothing about the USA. Nothing about the United States, only the UN. Take that in. Okay, this is ESG. Take it in. Here we go.
Controls the UN? Well, let's take a look. NGOs have the most significant influence on the UN's decision-making process. NGOs, non-governmental organizations. Through lobbying, advocacy, and partnerships, NGOs have massive influence over the UN's agenda. They also have played a significant role in mobilizing public opinion on UN-related issues. The NGO that encouraged the UN to enact the Principles for Responsible Investment, PRI, was the United Nations Environment Program Finance Initiative, or UNEP-FI, is a partnership between the UN Environment Program and the financial community. So having said that, some of the largest NGOs today include Amnesty International. Revenue was roughly $392 million last year. Doctors Without Borders, they had a $2 billion revenue. World Wildlife Fund, they have a revenue of $257 million. Oxfam, $119 million. Save the Children, $950 million. And so now the next question would be, so who controls the UN NGOs? Now, who controls NGOs? Let's take a look. Top donors. So who are these top donors? Well, governments, Netherlands, Norway, Sweden, and Switzerland are the top individual donors into the UNEP-FI. So financial institutions such as AXA, BNP, Deutsche Bank, HSBC, ING. These financial institutions provide funding to UNEP-FI through their membership fees and through their participation in various programs and initiatives. Foundations such as Ford Foundation, Rockefeller Foundation and the William and Flora Hewlett Foundation. These foundations provide funding through their grants and through their participations in various programs and initiatives. You ready for the next one? This one's kind of weird. Ready? Yeah. Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has donated billions of dollars to various NGOs worldwide and partnered with NGOs like the World Health Organization, UNICEF, and many others. George Soros Open Society Foundation, HRC. According to Open Society Foundation website, the organization has given a total of $100 million to HRC over the past 10 years, which has been used to support a wide range of organizations' work, including legal challenges to anti-LGBTQ laws, public education campaigns about LGBTQ issues, and lobbying efforts for LGBTQ rights legislation. By the way, if you're wondering how big Open Society Foundation is, which Soros gave $100 million to, he's given to them since 1984 $32 billion of his own money. Soros, his own money, $32 billion has been given to Open Society. It's a massive ran by George Soros. It is. So it's crazy, right? You think about all these big organizations. Why do they care so much what these companies do? Why do they fear with this ESG score? Why are they doing so many things that makes no sense? Why would Bud Light target a transgender audience? They don't drink your beer. You have military. Why would you make such dumb decisions? Because they're worried about pleasing the score. Here's a story from Bloomberg regarding BlackRock and.
Do you see how powerful this score is? There's a lot of money behind attaining this score. There's a lot of money behind the infrastructure, to setting up the score, the things that actually determine the score. And there's a lot of money that was put up to attain the score so that funding can continue to flow. That's the reason why your boy Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, said we're going to change behaviors. All right, here we go.
And Larry Fink. Watch this. In 2020, Larry Fink declared that a fundamental reshaping of global capitalism was underway and that his firm would help lead it by making it easier to invest in companies with favorable environmental and social practices. Our flows continue to grow and dominate, Fink said regarding ESG funds. On the same conference call with analysts, he added, BlackRock is a leader in this being ESG. And we are seeing the flows, and I continue to see this big shift in investor portfolios. What Fink did not say is that BlackRock drove a significant part of that shift by inserting its primary ESG fund into popular and influential model portfolios offered to investment advisors who use them with clients across North America. The huge flows from such models mean many investors got into an ESG vehicle without necessarily choosing one as a specific investment strategy or even knowing that their money has gone into one. In short, an apparent BlackRock-led rush of investors into ESG in the past 2 years has been something of self-fulfilling prophecy, at least when it comes to the biggest such fund on the planet, a BlackRock exchange-traded fund that trades under the ticker ESGU, according to data from BlackRock and Morningstar. So do you support ESG? You're watching this. Do you support ESG? Do you have mutual funds? Do you have stocks? Have you invested into some of these funds? You may not know, but a portion of your money is supporting ESG, and you don't even know it. That's what this is kind of talking about.
So again, this is to those retirees, right? Those that have those retirement accounts. Yep, that's your money. Yes, sir. Yep. Take that in. I know. It's going to be all right. Let's keep going.
So maybe give you some numbers on how powerful it is and why company CEOs, S&P 500 CEOs, shiver when it comes down to these types of things. Watch this. Number one, Net Zero Asset Managers initiative launched in December 2020 with an initial group of 30 signatories. By the end of 2022, it had 291 representing over $66 trillion of assets under management. It's a lot of money. $66 trillion. Jeez. According to Larry Fink's 2023 CEO letter, today's global financial assets total is $400 trillion. This is $66 trillion. That's a lot of influence. According to Boston Consulting Group, asset managers control roughly 60% of global investable assets. This is why companies are afraid of going against ESG asset managers control investment flows. There is no other way to say it, but why a CEO of a company that knows who 99% of his customers are wants to pander to this? Because behind closed doors, that guy is scared of not getting good exposure. How weird, right? Terrifying. 3 companies I want you to know about: BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard. These 3 companies, the amount of power they have with ESG, it's wild. Here's an article from Harvard Business Review. Look what it says here. One of either BlackRock, Vanguard, or State Street is the largest shareholder in 88% of S&P 500 companies. Let me say this one more time in case I said it too fast. One of 3, State Street, Vanguard, BlackRock, is the largest shareholder in 88% of S&P 500 companies.
Good God, 88% of S&P 500 companies. Good Lord. They own damn near everything. Good God.
Companies. Did you catch that? That's a lot of control and influence. They are the 3 largest owners of the most Dow 30 companies. Overall, institutional investors, which may offer both active and passive funds, own 80% of all stocks in S&P 500 companies. The big 3 collectively held a median stake of 21.9% in S&P 500 companies, which represented a proportion of 24.9% of the votes casted at annual meetings of those companies. Now it makes sense? It's not these poor CEOs that were bashing and trashing. They didn't do anything. They're just reporting to their boss who owns 24.9% of the votes. They get to impact their weighting. God, imagine you're sitting in this board, right? And they're like, well, here's what we're thinking about. We're thinking about making something to target to get more families to come by and make a drink for veterans because we kind of want to do this. No, we're going to do this. And if you guys go against this, we can't fund your this.
Wow.
Oh, what do you think? Well, I'm kind of going with these guys. I still want my job. What do you think? You were with me when we talked yesterday at dinner, and you said it was a good idea. I don't know what dinner you're talking about. I'm going to go. Why? He doesn't want to get fired.
Exactly.
You don't think these types of things happen behind closed doors? What do you think? What do you think? When you have this kind of control, what do you think happens? You have to be naive to think it doesn't happen. These 3 firms control roughly 80% out of about $4 trillion in total ETF assets.
80% of out of 4 trillion total ETF assets. That is some crazy influence. Wow. Woo. Man, we ain't done. Let's keep going, guys. Let's take the bath. Come on.
So if they sold you and you're watching this, you're like, yeah, but Pat, the whole thing with ESG is environmental. Aren't they trying to make the environment? The whole purpose is to make the world a better place. So the planet's going to be around longer. No, isn't that what it's about? Well, maybe that's what they say. But let's see if that's what they do. In December of 2021, Bloomberg found that only 1 of 155 ESG upgrades of S&P 500 companies cited an actual cut in emissions as a factor.
Wait. Only one company out of all the companies actually factored in an environmental component to the score. You can't make this up. This is the greatest grift ever. I mean, the grifting on this is legendary. God damn. Woo-hoo-hoo-wee. Man, this make Black Lives Matter look like a straight up preschool. Damn. Not preschool. They ain't came out the womb yet. I mean, this is some crazy grifted and influence. They got crazy influence, guys. Golly. Woo.
Oh my God. 1 in 155. But listen, ESG, what we're doing is environmental, social, and governance. We're trying to make the world a better place so you can last longer and live longer than your kids and the planet and all this stuff. Yeah. Oh, really? Yeah. Show it to me with action. 1 out of 155. Yeah. You're full of shit. I don't believe you. That's kind of how the average person, after they look at the numbers, is going to say, I have a hard time believing these guys are doing it for a good cause. Okay, so as if this ESG stuff wasn't enough, have you guys heard about DEI or CEI? Maybe you've heard about it, you don't know a lot about it. Too many acronyms, I'm with you, but let's take a look at this as well. So, DEI and CEI take over corporate America. According to justcapital.com, as of 2023, 94% of employers and 74% of workers say that their organization has made a commitment to advancing DEI in their workplace. Compared to 2021, only 32% of companies required some form of DEI training for their employees. Wow. You're talking about 94% of employers, and just 2 years ago was 32% of companies require some sort of DEI training. This thing's becoming a phenomenon right now. It's cool to say we have a DEI and a CI training. I think we even fell for it like 6 years ago or 5 years ago at first, thinking this was a good cause. Okay, so DEI and CI take over in corporate America. There's a few things we need to know about. First, before I give you the stats here, which is absolutely wild. Okay, so DEI stands for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Refers to organizational frameworks which seek to promote the fair treatment and full participation of all people, particularly groups who have historically been underrepresented or subject to discrimination on the basis of identity or disability. So, sounds like a noble cause, right? Now let's look at CEI. CEI stands for Corporate Equality Index, which is the national benchmarking tool on corporate policies, practices, and benefits pertinent to lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer employees. Which is kind of wild now, because now with the CEI score, if let's just say I'm a 22-year-old kid, just got out of college, I'm working for S&P 500 company, 379 are participating in the CEI score, 138 is their first year ever. What do you think they're doing to employees like you and I for working there? What do I have to bite for? What language do I have to use? What can't I use? Now, here's what's a little wild. When you think about social media sites for business, there's only one of them you think about. You think about LinkedIn, right? Even LinkedIn wrote an article about how this DEI could be a bad thing for business. Here's what it had to say. 7 ways your DEI initiatives are harming your company and how to resolve it. Number 1, DEI is discriminatory. Wow. Can you imagine? Wow. It is discriminatory. It's LinkedIn saying this. Number 2.
So hold on. Come on. So diversity, equity, and inclusion. LinkedIn is saying that it is by itself discriminatory. You can't make this up. I mean, the grift is legendary. This is a legendary grift. I mean, God, respect. Respect. Golly. Keep going, y'all.
Number 2, DEI unnecessarily preferences physical attributes over the non-physical. Number 3, DEI diminishes the size of the talent pool. Number 4, DEI decreases performance. Number 5, DEI is divisive. Number 6, DEI diminishes accomplishments and disincentivizes performance. Number 7, DEI is distracting. Says LinkedIn. LinkedIn article.
LinkedIn, this is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is not a right wing or type of scenario. No, it leans pretty liberal a little bit, but I would say cut a little bit more in the middle, moderate, so to speak. But they're going in on DEI, and I gotta agree with them.
4 ways to resolve it. Number 1, close the DEI office altogether. Number 2, eliminate diversity quotas. Number 3, hire, promote on merit. Number 4, seize all diversity training programs and reinvest that time and money to upskill employees. A little crazy, a little wild, a little dark, little no common sense. It just doesn't make any sense what these guys are doing here. By the way, do you know what the top 5 best ESG score companies are? Number 5, drum roll, Bank of America. Oh. I am surprised. Number 4, Salesforce. Number 3, Microsoft. Bill and Melinda Gates. Anyone surprised? I'm not surprised. Number 2, Intel. And number 1 highest ESG score is a company many say that supports the government, is a company called Alphabet, hence Google has the highest ESG score. Do you want to take a wild guess which companies have the lowest ESG score? These are anti-establishment companies. You think Tesla has a high ESG score? Can you imagine? Tesla does more to actually help with emissions, but they have a medium score. They're not impressive. They're right in the middle out of all the automobile companies. Out of 81 automobile companies, they're ranked 41. And
come on. This Tesla? So Tesla is 41. It's just like they not top 5. Tesla for ESG, environmental social governance. Tesla. I mean, the grift is legendary. Let's keep going. Golly.
And they're doing more than all these other guys. Twitter, not the best score. Fox Nation, Fox News, not the best score. Xerox, not the best score. Wow. AT&T, not the best score. These are at the bottom. I wonder why. Because they're not caving into these ridiculous policies that these guys are coming up with that cost Target $9 billion, that cost Bud, Anheuser-Busch, $15.7 billion. Wow. I tweeted this the other day, and I'll explain 3 points I talked about why this doesn't work. Lesson 4, Fortune 500 company CEOs and CMOs. Number 1, screw your ESG score. Instead, focus on keeping your best customers happy. Number 2, you can't please both the ESG community and your best customers at the same time. Attempting to do so will cost you both. Number 3, it's time for the board to fire the CEO and the entire marketing team. You know what the problem with that is? The board will gladly fire them because they're ESG people, because they own 24.9% of the board seats in the first place. Make sense? This is kind of weird to say fire them and don't fire them. You're probably not going to fire these guys because they're doing exactly what they want them to do, but in an ideal situation of capitalism, not controlled by some UN PRI score, those guys would get fired. Number 4, bad ideas have consequences. And number 5, capitalism works, pandering doesn't. Either go into politics and sell your ideas, or run a company knowing your number one customer is us, then people that work for you, then these nonsense people out of UN and ESG and BlackRock and Vanguard and State Street that control you. You work for them, and the world is starting to realize it. Don't you want to be free? If you do, maybe talk about it so the rest of the world can realize what it's like to be so afraid, shivering of your ESG, DEI, and your CI score. Anyways.
Guys, man, I got to give my man PBD, Patrick David, a hand clap of praise. That was one, if not, that's one of probably the best, I would say it's the best presentation I've seen him do, because I've seen him do presentations live and in living color, and those were great as well. But as far as presentation online, best I've ever seen. I gotta say this here. This is my reaction, guys, real fast, and then we'll go into the counter move. This is the biggest grift. I mean, the biggest grift, and I gotta give him respect because it's been extremely effective. Extremely effective. This ESG grift makes Black Lives Matter, that whole grift there, look like kids, like not kids. They in the womb still. I mean, the grift on this ESG stuff is legendary. It is just crazy. They own 88% of all of the S&P 500 companies. This is crazy town. Now do you see why this gender so woke? They don't care about losing any money at all. They don't care because there's so much money behind it, guys. Notice, guys, if you look at Bud Light, after this whole thing with Bud Light, even with the distributors saying, please, man, please come buy back the beer, and they did that. What tripped me out is this here, guys, is they don't care. These guys went and sponsored a pride parade in New York. I mean, just outward with it. And I'm like, this is just. Then the CEO went on CBS, and I got to give respect to CBS. They gave a good interview with this guy. They asked him, are you, the CEO of Anheuser-Busch, do you think you made a bad decision when it came to this whole woke thing when it came to Bud Light? The dude was like, no, it was cool. It was cool. Chick-fil-A going woke. No place is going woke. You can't make this up, man. But after unpacking why, these guys are definitely afraid for their jobs, guys, because those companies own at least 24% of the company. 24%. Now, I know you guys say that's not a lot of percentage of a public company. Yes, it is. Yes, it is, and they have the ability to buy more. That's why they don't care about losing money. And the thing about it is they are using the retirees' money, pension funds, 401ks, IRAs, Roth IRAs, 403bs, 457 TSPs. They're using your money because that money is in pension funds. I bet you don't know exactly what you invested in when it comes to your portfolio, when it comes to your retirement. You probably have no clue what you invested in. That's done for a reason. This is the greatest grift I've ever seen in my life. And it's extremely effective. Extremely effective. I mean, it's legendary. I wish I thought about it. Yeah, I'm playing. But damn, I mean, the hustle is craziness, man. Yep, on Instagram, my man Reed CalPERS. Yes, sir, CalPERS controls a ton of money, a ton of retirement money. Now do you see why when it comes to those teacher retirement funds, like in Texas it's called TRS, You can't touch the money until you retire or you quit. You can't touch it. None of it. Why? Because they playing with it. They playing with it, man. It is, you're going to have to begin to set up a parallel economy to where you act like the Federal Reserve. You are the first and the last to make the decision. It is time to put your big boy pants on, because if not, you SOL. You really are. I gotta keep it 1,000 with you. 88%. Golly, they control 88% of every company on the S&P 500. Son of a dog. Said you're part of CalPERS, brother? Yes, sir. On CalPERS big time. This is said on Instagram. Brother, CalPERS, yep, ESG big dog. And they're big in it. They're big in it, yo. It is craziness. And again, remember these three names. BlackRock, right? Vanguard, and State Street. Those three. Jesus. You got UN making decisions for the USA. This is crazy town. This is crazy town. Wow. So you got CEOs scared of losing their jobs. Yes, sir. Running your company with your money. I got to say, the grift is amazing, guy. I got to give it to him. Respect. Golly. Woo. Black Lives Matter. Who? Shit. ESG is what it said. Damn. All right, y'all. What's the counter move? Whoo, my God. I always say, guys, peep it, sweep it, and keep it, y'all. My word, my word. I mean, these guys these guys, I gotta say it, these guys, man, are corporate mafia bosses. I mean, damn. Wow. All right, y'all. You got to examine your current situation. That's the people portion, guys. I got to ask this question. What environment is your money currently resting in? Let me say that again for the folk in the back row. What environment is your money currently resting in? If it's in a 401k, an IRA, a Roth IRA, 403b, TSP, 457, hey, pick one, right? I'll put money on it. 99% of the time, it's controlled by BlackRock, Vanguard, and or State Street. Yes, sir. Yep. So, I ask the question again. What environment is your money currently resting in? Because you have given permission to this woke agenda to continue because they're using your money. All right. Number two, this is sweeping. How secure is your money? Let me say this real fast, guys. Those have retirements like 401ks. 401k investors they invest 100% of the capital, take 100% of the risk, and on their pocket 30% of the profit. Let me say it again. Retirees, 401k investors, invest 100% of the capital, take 100% of the risk, and only net 30% of the profit. Terrible investment. Trash. Again, how secure is your money? If the market goes up, you're doing all right. Market go down, it's gone. All right? So, all right, I have three things that I use every time. Those that follow me know what I'm going to say. I always say, you insure your money, leverage it property, and invest in protection assets, right? Insure, protect your money. Leverage, properly leverage it right so that you can actually make investments that you control, and then protect, make sure what you're investing in gives you a cushion in case things hit the fan. Simple. Okay? Remember that. Insure, leverage, protect. All right? Lastly, you got to start thinking generationally. Most retiree investors, and I say retiree investors, I'm talking about those that have those type of accounts, are not thinking generationally. They're thinking for today. They're not. They're not. Because if they did, that money would not be in the environment. All. Period. All right? Think generationally. Now, you have to ask yourself this question. Does any of this position you or provides the correct environment to make your life better? I would say your and your family's life better. Okay? Does any of this meaning where your money is presently resting at and the strategy that you're using now, position you or provides the correct environment to make your life better? If the answer is no, it's time for you to change. If not, stop complaining. Be okay with this woke agenda because they're using your money. It's simple. Here's what I say all the time. I saw this quote. It says, the wealthy plan for 3 generations. Broke people plan for Saturday night. Which one are you? Okay? Which one are you? You can only answer that question, guys. It's fairly simple. All right, guys? Man, this right here, I mean, whew, the grift, y'all, is real. This is a crazy grift. Now that you know, on any of the platforms, share this with somebody. Share it with somebody. All right? Next week, I may go into the hidden fees of 401ks and IRAs. Oh my God. That one's going to make you shit a brick. Okay? But anyways, guys, thank you so much for your time. Give me your thought. What are your thoughts? Comment below, no matter what program that you're on, platform that you're on. Comment below. Tell me what you think, guys. Just trying to provide some value as much as I can, guys. That's it. I'll also say this here, guys. I'm always asked, excuse me, Liddell, can you help out? Not a problem. Here's what you can do. Here, guys. I'm gonna get rid of this real fast. If you need some assistance on what to do next, all right? It's real simple, guys. No matter what platform that you're on, you can scan on this QR code for a wealth management strategy. So, and I can point you in the right direction. I don't know where you're at. I have no clue where you're at, but we can, and it's 100% free. It costs no money at all. You talk to myself or someone on my staff, and we will look at what's going on and properly advise where you can go if you want looking for a counter move to what's going on right now, guys. All right. So it's just, man, it is. And if you're on Instagram, guys, this link is in my bio. Okay. It should be in my bio if you're on Instagram. Right. But guys, thank you so much for your time, guys. God bless you. Oh, I got to say this all the time as well, guys. Every Tuesday and Friday, Susu, Suni and Mo have a show called Somewhere in the Middle, guys. And it is funny. It is good. I always play this, guys, at the end. Watch it. Here we go.
So now we're about to get I went down. Facts on facts on facts. Hello.
All right, guys, that's Somewhere in the Middle. Every Friday and Tuesday, Suni and Mo, they kind of come in and give you good information, be entertained, which would be great. Grab your boo, get your little drink if you're of age, right? And have some fun every Tuesday evening and Friday as well, guys. They just expanded it because of the popularity of the show, guys. They're part of the TITM Media Group, Truth in the Marketplace Media Group, guys. Well, guys, again, I get asked this all the time. If you need any help, guys, at all, you're welcome. Scan the QR code. It's free. You know what I'm saying? And we can point you in the right direction for you to be able to counter move. All right, guys. Well, guys, thank you so much for your time. And you know how I end it every single time, guys. I always say this before you leave and while you can. You see that thing, man. Don't get mad at me because I look better than you, man. take that damn picture and give it to your mama now. Now say it with your chest, guys, and holla at your partner. God bless you guys. See you next week. Peace.